Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we have Metal Foes. You can hear the Triff music in the background because this is Pelham. And as you can see, we have a little hand over here. I'm just going to showcase your mainline combos. It's basically any way to get two monsters on the field and maybe a Magician's Souls in the hand. This hand, it looks completely unplayable. You have 3 copies of Volflame. You can't even normal summon it, so you can't say normal summon Steel and go into Link Spider and then just summon it. You have Abductor, which is you can't even scale it to get its search effect. There are lots of problems with this hand, but good thing about Metal Foes, there are no bad hands. So we're gonna go ahead get started with Magical Abductor, and then you will go ahead and normal summon scale the Volflame. This will put 1 counter on your Abductor, and now you will scale another Volflame. This will put 2 counters on your Abductor. You're gonna use the effect of one of them in order to pop the other scale and get a Metal Foes combination. Now you want to scale anything else really. I'll just scale the 3rd Volflame because why not? You're going to use its effect to pop this 2nd Volflame, and we're going to get a 2nd combination. And just like that, we have 3 counters on Abductor. It's basically free. So now we're going to use the effect of our Abductor to remove 3 counters from it in order to search Magician's Souls. This card is absurd in this deck. There's no doubt about that. And as you can see, we dumped Gravekeeper Shaman. Interesting. You're like, what? Gravekeeper Shaman? I'll get to that later. So we're going to use Magician's Souls in order to get rid of these 2 Metal Foes combinations or draw 2. And these 2 Metal Foes combinations will trigger in order to search cards. The thing, you don't even have to draw Metal Foes off these 2 cards. These can just be any 2 cards. We're going to go ahead use our 2 combinations. When they're sent from the field to graveyard, you can add a Metal Foes card. Since we have a high scale and we don't really have too many low scales. I mean, we have Gold Driver and Steelin, but we don't really have I mean, we have Gold Driver, but we don't really have anything apart from that. So I'll get a search for Melcaster. It's a new card. You only really run this as a name. It doesn't have too much utility. It's just a name. You know, you have to run every name at 3 because you want to see your scales as often as possible. A problem with it is that once again it's level 7, so you can't really search off Volflame. It's kind of like Volflame where you can normal summon it, so that's a bit of a problem, but it's fine. It's perfectly fine. So I'll just search another Steelin maybe. It's honestly up to choice, but I'd say Steelin's the best because now I have 2 low scales, 2 high scales. It's perfectly balanced. So now we're gonna link into our copy of your Linkuriboh, and now you can go into a Nightmare Phoenix. Nightmare Phoenix, you ask? That's because we're going into a Link Cross. Link Cross will just generate 2 tokens. If you didn't get your if you weren't able to get to your Abductor, you can use your Where Art Thou now in order to get search for souls, which is just super nice. What do I have in my graveyard? Linkuriboh, that's fine. I guess I'll just summon the Linkuriboh because why not right now? I'm gonna be linking it off later, so that's nice. I'll scale this Melcaster right here to use its effect and pop this Link token in order to get another new card, Metal Foes Fusion. This card is actually pretty insane, where it lets you use cards in your extra deck as fusion material, which is absolutely absurd. So we're going to set our Metal Foes Fusion. We're going to go ahead. I did a mistake there. I was supposed to use my Where Art Thou on one of the Link tokens. It's fine. It's fine. This deck is so good even if you misplay, it doesn't matter. We're going to use the Metal Foes Fusion. I think I'll use one of the high scales for Mithrilium right here. You can use this Abductor because you don't need it, and I'll just use my Steelin in my hand in order to go into Mithrilium. Now our cross shape will trigger, summoning back a Magician's Souls. Now that we have the level 1 on field, we can use Where Art Thou in order to get our copy of Bismugear. This is really just another name. Now we can go ahead use our Mithrilium in order to shuffle back 2 cards. I think that's correct. Let's see, what should I shuffle back? I mean, I have the 2 Metal Foes combination and Steelin in my hand. I cannot shuffle back the Metal Foes Fusion because I need it as a spell in my graveyard. So I'll just shuffle back the 2 combination. I could use them next turn, and I'll be bouncing back this Volflame because I want to scale my Bismugear. Now we can go ahead, scale our Bismugear, and we will use its effect in order to pop this Melcaster. The good thing about popping the Melcaster is that it gets you another card in your hand for a Metal Foes fusion, which is just a lot of value. Not that we're actually going to use a monster in our hand for Metal Foes fusion, believe it or not. We will just add a Volflame to our hand. It doesn't really matter too much once again. But now since we have Spellcaster, we can go into Selene. Oh no, we don't go into Selene yet, sorry. I need to scale my Gold Driver first, just as another scale. I mean, we have Where Art Thou, I just realized that, but I am dumb, so just need to be safe, you know, for dummies like me. We are going to go in Selene. It's important to summon your Matrillium to your farthest zone so that it doesn't come under the Selene's arrows, otherwise it would be in the middle zone. So right here it should be pretty fine. We can use the Metal Foes fusion, I think, in order to do stuff. Yeah, I should be safe using Metal Foes fusion. I will be able to go ahead and summon Alcahest by using this Matrillium and this Volflame in my hand in order to summon Alcahest. We can use Matrillium. It lets me basically Monster Reborn any of my any Metal Foes monster. So I'll just Monster Reborn this Volflame right here, and then I think we should be able to Pendulum summon. I might use my Metal Foes fusion before that, just as some more draws. We'll be able to draw one card. We drew Bismugear. That's not too great, honestly, but it's fine. If I want, I can use my Gold Driver right now to pop this Bismugear, but it doesn't really matter too much because I should be pretty safe Pendulum summoning right now. I will go ahead Pendulum a lot of cards. Doesn't really matter too much about your Pendulum, as long as you're Penduluming, it's all good. So I have 3 Volflame on field, so that's kind of funny. So we'll go into a Union carry right now because it's infinite negates. What would you expect? So now we can activate our Selene in order to get rid of 3 tokens, and this is where it comes up, summoning the Gravekeeper Shaman. In case you don't know what this card does, it basically is a Necro value on wheels. It doesn't stop all card effects, it only stops all monster effects that activate in the graveyard, but that's really good. It's basically auto win against decks like PK, Orcus. I'd say Salamangreat is also an auto win, a bit I guess. So it does work against a lot of decks, especially since so many decks are graveyard reliant. PK and BA are just fan favorites, so it should basically auto win against them. And that's Gravekeeper Shaman for you. We don't really use our graveyard from this point on, so we should be pretty safe. We can go into a Reaper-Docus, and we'll use Reaper-Docus to change the monster's type into a Winged Beast. Now we can go into a copy of Simorgh Bird of Sovereignty. That's nice once again, and we'll be using our Union Carrier in order to equip a Mist Valley Thunderbird to our Simorgh Bird of Sovereignty. It's kind of, and I think I'll use my Gold Driver right here, because why not? You know, I'd like to get my Bismugear off the field, so you can do that if you like. It's honestly up to choice. I don't care what you do from your scales from now on. Just for showcase purposes, I will go ahead. What do I have to resolve? Where Art Thou? I'll take 2k, and I get to use some more Sovereignties. Let's me summon a Winged Beast monster from my deck. So that's nice. In case you don't know how Infinite Negates work, it's basically as long as you're able to get Mist Valley Apex Avian and Thunderbird on the field, you basically have Infinite Negates. If your opponent attempts to activate an effect, Mist Valley Apex Avian will trigger, bouncing back a Thunderbird in order to negate it. And when Thunderbird is bounced back to your hand, you can summon it once again. So just like that, you can just infinitely loop them because neither of them are once per turn. If your opponent attempts to attack over the Thunderbird, you can just get rid of it using Alcahest, which is just so good. I might even consider you could consider using the Gold Driver, pop it, get a full Metal Foes fusion, and then you can use Alcahest twice since it's only a soft once per turn, which is just super value. You'll be able to use the Steel in hand as fusion material, go into another Alcahest, you'll get rid of one monster, and you'll be able to equip another monster, which is just super good. In case you don't know what Alcahest does, it is basically Thousand Eyes Restrict, except it's a quick effect where you can just instantly equip anything you want to it, which is just super good removal. On top of that, you have Gravekeeper Shaman, which is a full graveyard lockdown, and this is pretty difficult to combat, even if they do somehow attack over Thunderbird. As I said, I'd recommend using your Gold Riper to set the full Metal Foes fusion right there. But let's go to the deck profile now. So right here I have the deck. It's a pretty decent deck. It's super consistent since all you need are names. You just need names galore. As long as you're able to get 2 monsters on the field so that you can make Link Cross, and any way to get Magician Souls, you run 9 copies of Magician Souls in terms of Abductor, Souls, and Triple Wear Off Thou. It's super easy to do. Another thing you can do, instead of actually going into Alcahest directly, you could go into your Metal Foes Ori Calc and then use full Metal Foes fusion on your opponent's turn in order to make an Alcahest stand, and then Ori Calc will be able to destroy a card, any card on the field, so it doesn't necessarily have to be a monster, and then Alcahest can just steal a monster from there. It's just super good, and it is very consistent, and it's maybe Glass Cannon. It's kind of Glass Cannon, but it's difficult to play through Nibiru sometimes. You will be able to Penlom summon for 4, so in case you do run into interruptions, you can sometimes maybe go into Appaloosa Pass. Not too strong, honestly, but you will at least be able to end on an Alcahest most of the times. So starting off, we have 3 copies of a Volflame. Volflame definitely well, all of them have the same effect. 3 copies of Volflame, Gold Driver, Silvered, Stealing, and Triple Melcaster and Triple Bismugear. All of these are names. All of them have the same effect in the Pendulum Scale, where once per turn, on a soft once per turn by the way, you can target one other face-up card you control, destroy it, and then set a Metal Foes spell or trap. So this lets you set your fusion spells or Metal Foes combination, which can just turn into even bigger pluses with Magician Souls, which is absolutely insane. Most of these are vanillas, so you do get to use some vanilla support like Rescue Rabbit and your Painful Decision. A Rescue Rabbit might actually be a bit more difficult since you are running your Abductor and you want to sometimes save your a normal summon for that, so I might consider using Rescue Rabbit and putting in more stuff like Painful Choice, since I really need those. I really do need the vanillas. You definitely need the names. You want to run into as many names as possible, so you might even consider running 2 copies of Summoner's Art, or actually I might just cut Rescue Rabbit to 2 just to make sure I don't really overflow in terms of normal summons, because even Rescue Rabbit is pretty important in case you draw your Wear Off Thou or your Magician Souls. So I think I'd just run 2 Rescue Rabbit, you know, deck building on the spot. I think I'd run 2 Rescue Rabbit, honestly, just since it's a 1 card Link 2, you're able to go into Nightmare Phoenix and then straight into a Link Cross. But going on, we have Apex Avian and Thunderbird for Infinite Gates. Melcaster, its effect is actually pretty decent in terms of fusion summoning. That's another reason why you run it as a 3-of, as it's able to get cards from your extra deck to your hand. So in case you're running low on fusion material, this just does an incredible job at recovering them. 1 copy of Gravekeeper Shaman. This is your Magician Souls target, which is a full graveyard lockout, which is absolutely insane. I did not run my Jackal King or Endymion, mainly because it's pretty difficult to activate spell cards in the late game. So that's the main reason I'm going for Gravekeeper Shaman. Plus, I don't necessarily run too many graveyard effects. One thing about Magician Shaman is that you might not be able to do your Ori Calc plays, which is a bit of a problem, but this can really be anything you want, any level 6 or higher spellcaster for your Magician Souls. 3 copies of Abductor, this is another way to search your Magician Souls. 2 copies of Rescue Rabbit, it's a 1 card Link 2 which goes into a Link Cross for 2 tokens, which is just very important. And as long as you're able to open this plus Wear Off Thou plus or Magician Souls, you are pretty good. The main reason I run it at 2 is since you do necessarily need one of these 6 cards, so I do just run it as a 2-of. 1 copy of Thunderbird for Infinite Gates, 1 copy of 3 copies of Bismugear. It has the same has the same Metal Force effect to destroy and set a spell trap. Unfortunately, it's a level 1, so you can't pendulum summon it in this deck specifically, so it does kind of fall out there. But it's able to search a Metal Force card during the end of your turn, and that's pretty nice. It's also level 1 to search up Where Art Thou in case you already have your Magician Souls and you haven't accessed Where Art Thou. That is super great. 3 copies of Magician Souls just for your Shaman, and also helps you trigger your Metal Force combination. It's definitely the heart and literally the soul of the deck. It's usually able to go +4. You're usually able to go +4 off its effect, since you do get your searches off combination. Basically, Pot of Greed and 2 searches, absolutely absurd. It also sets up your graveyard for Gravekeeper Shaman, and you're able to do some pretty spicy stuff from there. 3 copies of Painful Decision. You definitely need your Painful Decision. You want to see your scales as often as possible. I cannot emphasize that enough. On top of that is a spell card for your Selene, so that's nice. 3 copies of Where Art Thou in order to search your Magician Souls or your Bismuth Gear, depending on the situation. And next, your Metal Force spells and traps. 1 copy of Metal Force Fusion just for fusion. On top of that is another draw card, so that also comes up pretty often. 1 copy of your Para Metal Force Fusion is a new card. Absolutely insane, because you're able to use material from your extra deck, so that is super great. And plus Mitrillium can just recover cards from your graveyard anyways, so it doesn't really matter too much. On top of that, it's just really good in terms of conserving your material, and that's your main reason for playing it. 1 copy of Full Metal Force Fusion. Full Metal Force Fusion is a quick play spell, and in case you're not running Shaman, you don't really want to run Shaman, Full Metal Force Fusion is just super good in terms of it's especially good in the grind game, where you're able to get your Orichalc and your Alcahest combo. You just make Orichalc, and then during your opponent's turn you make Alcahest, which can turn into 2 disruptions. Super great. And Full Metal Force Fusion for sure. 2 copies of Metal Force Combination. You definitely need this for your Magician Souls, being able to draw 2 and search 2. You can't get any better than that. For extra deck, we run 1 copy of Orichalc. This deck is actually super good in terms of in the grind game. You're able, since this is a Pendulum deck, you're always able to just Pendulum summon from the extra deck, so that is super nice. Orichalc is able to just it's kind of a Chaos Max Dragon in a way, where it's able to inflict double piercing damage, and not just on this card, it's able on all of your Metal Force cards, which is just absolutely absurd. 2 copies of Mitrillium. I like to play 2 because it is super useful in terms of the grind game. It's able to just bounce cards, it's able to bounce your opponent's cards, able to bounce your own cards, since all of them are softness returns. Just has a lot of utility. On top of that, when it's sent from the field to the graveyard, basically in terms of using it as fusion material, you're able to just summon another Metal Force monster. So you're able to just conserve all the advantage you lose from using it as fusion material, which is just super good. 1 copy of your Alcahest. I'd say you can bump this up to 2, honestly, just for your full Metal Force Fusion play. I really want to find a way to bump this up to 2. Maybe using IP Masquerade. I don't know why that's there, honestly. Just run 2 Alcahest. You definitely need to run 2 Alcahest for sure. Just so useful in terms of being able to steal your opponent's cards, and since it's soft once per turn, you're able to trigger it multiple times a turn. So you're able to steal up to 2 monsters your opponent controls in case they have lots of inherent summons, something like Black Wings, where they're able to just a normal summon and then they can just summon out their entire hand. So 2 Alcahest for sure. 1 copy of your Appaloosa. Appaloosa does definitely come up in case your plays get disrupted. You're usually able to end on an Appaloosa most of the time, so that's something to keep note of. 1 copy of your Symbolic Bird of Sovereignty. This is for your Infinite Gates. 1 copy of Selene. Selene is to recover your Gravekeeper Shaman. It's just to lock out your opponent from your extra deck. On top of that, it has amazing arrows, all of them being down, so you can just pendulum summon your entire extra deck out. 1 copy of your Nightmare Phoenix. Nightmare Phoenix, it's basically just any generic Link 2, honestly. 1 copy of Union Carrier for Infinite Gates. 1 copy of Reaper Doxus. Change cards into Winged Beast for your Symbolic Bird of Sovereignty. 1 copy of your Cross Sheep. Since this deck does go into fusion potions pretty often, and since all of your fusion spells are searchable, you can just trigger cross shield most of the time in order to get a fusion monster on the field. One copy of your Link Spider. Link Spider is mainly there since all of your cards are vanillas. You can use Link Spider in order to convert any of those vanillas into a monster, and then you can summon another card from your hand, which is just really good. On top of that, if you use Rescue Rabbit, since Nightmare Phoenix requires monsters with different names, you can use Link Spider in order to tribute one of those monsters. Not tribute, you'll be able to link up one of those monsters into a monster with a different name, so now you can go into Nightmare Phoenix for free. One copy of Link Cross. Link Cross just generates tokens and those tokens can be destroyed, by the way, which is just super good. And finally, one copy of Linkuriboh. This can just turn one of your tokens into a playable monster. So that's the deck. It is super fun, honestly. It's probably the most fun I've had in a long time, and you definitely should try it out. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell, as it really does help the channel. And I'll see you next time. Goodbye.